Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to today's vlog. So I just got off work. It is about 8 o'clock p.m. I am so sleepy because I did two 12-hour shifts in a row, which is not really a big deal. You know, people do a lot more days in a row than that. But I am just not sleeping good, particularly for some reason, the nights before I have to work. I don't know why, but it's like, I think it's just general anxiety the night before I work. You know, worrying about Kaidale, having to leave him the next day, worrying if he's gonna have a good day or not. Lately, he's had mostly good days, so I don't even know why I'm worried about it. I think it's just a past history of worrying about it, and it is what it is. It is a part of parenting, single parenting, special needs parenting. It just is what it is. So I kind of wanted to follow up with you guys and just recap and update y'all on the whole beginning of quarantine fiasco that me and Kaidale experienced. So for those of you guys who are new or not familiar with my channel, my name is Kaitlin. I am a single mom to a really cute, really amazing, sweet, special boy with autism. He's 8 years old, soon to be 9 years old. His name is Kaidale, and he's just amazing. However, he does have severe autism. He has a lot of behavioral concerns that we have spent years in ABA working through, and he's made a lot of progress. He is also minimally verbal, and the words that he says are pretty difficult to understand. And of all the challenges, the most recent challenge that we have had going on with him is his urge or his desire to elope. So back in March, I believe it was, it was March, right when quarantine first started, and anxiety and stress was already really high. He was out of school. I was spending a lot of time at my parents' house, especially at nighttime, because I was relying on them to babysit because, most of his babysitters were social distancing at that time. I mean, still are, but kind of coming back into the swing of things now. But they were social distancing, so I was counting on my parents to help me babysit. So we were obviously out of routine. We spent the night at my parents' house, and Kaidale decided he wanted to go exploring in the middle of the night. He opened his window, which I didn't even realize he could do because they have like really big, heavy windows. They're kind of old. My mom's painted the window seals and the walls so many times that they were like stuck together, or at least I thought that they were. And he escaped. And I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to the police ringing my parents' doorbell asking if I was Kaidale's mom, and the sheer terror and trauma that I felt at that time was literally, I think, probably the closest thing to what I would think that a heart attack feels like. Just your mind automatically goes into like 1,000 different directions and scenarios. And I think I had a crazy look on my face because the police officer instantly said, "He's okay, he's fine, we have him." But just, thinking about all of the what ifs and all of the possibilities of that night is just horrifying. He was naked, first of all. I don't know why. He strips a lot. I don't know what it is with him and wanting to be naked, but he's constantly taking his clothes off, and I'm constantly having to tell him to put his clothes back on or help him put his clothes back on. So he was naked, running around at 4 o'clock in the morning. Fortunately, he has a very good sense of direction, and he has grown up with my parents living at that house, and he kind of knows their neighborhood like the back of his hand. But my parents live around a lot of water, a lot of lakes and retention ponds. My mind also kind of instantly goes to 4 a.m. in the morning, drunk drivers not paying attention. Kaidale has no concept of cause and effect. Cars will hit me. Cars will run over me. He doesn't understand that kind of thought process or, imaginative thinking. He's very literal. So I can't like give him a scenario like the car will hit you, the car will hurt you. He doesn't understand that. So, he was probably out running in the middle of the road, I would imagine. And fortunately, everything worked out perfectly for us because, well, not perfectly, but it worked out to where he was safe. He was found by nice people who called the police. I was also, bawling, crying for days on end, just thinking, what if this happens when he's 18 years old and he's very big? He's going to be super big and he's 250 pounds in somebody's backyard causing a bunch of ruckus. Would they assume he's breaking in? Would they try to, shoot him or something? I don't know. Or like, what if a pervert got him or something like that? I don't know. Your mind just goes into all the worst case scenarios, and it's just such a messed up world we live in these days that anything is possible, and it's terrifying. So not to rehash like all of those emotions, because I kind of talked about that when it first happened. Moving on, since then we have gotten my parents, they have an alarm system. It was just not working. So they fixed their alarm system. I have secured my apartment to where he cannot get out. We have bolted down the windows. We have put, like, all of my windows are just like lined with alarms, like 6 alarms on each window. But I still don't sleep good. I still have so much fear of, what if I get in a really deep sleep and I don't hear it, the alarm's going off or something like that. Just recently, he was up until 4 a.m. because he has a lot of sleep issues. And that's very common for kids on the spectrum to just not sleep very well. I don't know, their little minds are just going 90 miles an hour, and it's just hard sometimes for them to settle down and fall asleep. And he was up. I couldn't get him to go to sleep. I was exhausted. And I kind of dozed off very late at night. I kind of like dozed off, kind of like twilighty cat napping sort of. And I heard his alarm going off. And I jumped up out of the bed, tripped over the vacuum. It's kind of healing now, you can't really tell, but I got a giant nasty rug burn on my hand and a big blood blister on the side of my foot from hitting the vacuum. And instantly I just went back to, what has it been? 3 months ago. Instantly I just went back to 3 months ago, to that night, and I just jumped up and ran. And I don't think that feeling will ever go away. I don't think that PTSD from that night will ever go away. And, my fear is just it never happening again. I also have gotten so much outpouring of love and support and tips and tricks from all you guys. Everything from the bracelets, the like name tag bracelets you can buy that don't come off unless you have a lock, I think it is. Like, you have to have a special key to get them off. Like henna tattoos, non-toxic tattoos that last for, a week or two. Because Kaidale, a part of the problem was Kaidale couldn't tell the police his name or my name or where he lived or anything. So it was a little bit of an ordeal for the police to figure out where we lived or who this kid belonged to. Another thing that I've done since then is register him with the police department so that they can look him up in their database and locate him with, all of his demographic information. And also, I kind of recap this in another video, but just for those of y'all who didn't see, the way that the police found me was very coincidental and very fortunate and just luck and blessings. So they called the local principal for the local elementary school where my parents live. And he doesn't go to school there. He goes to a private school for autism in the next county over. So the principal didn't know him, and they sent her a picture of him, and she was like, yeah, I don't know this child. I'm sorry. But she just so coincidentally happens to be in a relationship with the chief firefighter of the county that my parents live in, which is also the hospital that I work at. And I know the chief. I am very familiar with him. He comes into the ER all the time to drop off patients and check on, how things are going. He actually used to work in the ER that I work for because I'm a nurse, for those of y'all who don't know. I am an ER trauma nurse. So I know this. I know most of the firefighters in the county, and I know him. So we're Facebook friends. So he recognized him, and he, told them that I know this child. This is her mom. She works in the ER. They were able to track me down and get my parents' address. So small world, small town. We got very lucky. We were definitely counting our blessings that night that everything worked out for the best, but it was just horrible and traumatizing. And I can tell you, as long as I've been a nurse, as much crap as I've seen in the ER, nothing was as terrible and traumatizing as that night, because I just felt all of the what if fears. So yeah. That's just a little recap of where we are 3 months later. And, when it first happened, I would cry on a daily basis. The first day, I cried all day long, which was awful because I was at work and I kept having to run into the bathroom to cry and splash my face with water and tell myself to buck up and get through the day. And then for about a week after, I would cry. At some point during the day, I would cry because I would I was numb. I was like in shock that happened, and just thankful that he was all right. Now I can talk about it without breaking down. We still, like I said, we still have a lot of, safety concerns. Kaidale still has a tendency to want to open his window from time to time. I still don't sleep very well because I'm worried about that night, and it just kind of was a huge reality check for me as a single parent, as a special needs parent. It was a huge reality check. So we're fine. Life is good. We have taken a lot more safety precautions. We're going to play it safe. We are going to not take any chances, and just be thankful for every day, and never let them out of my sight. Baby monitors, we've got baby monitors. I mean, we've gone extreme with the safety measures, but I feel like also a lot of guilt and shame because it never should have happened. I know Kaidale like the back of my hand. He's my child. I know his personality and his tendencies, and eloping, our version of eloping before this was him running in public and having to keep a tight grip on his hand in public. It was never like eloping during the middle of the night sort of a thing. Just a huge reality check. And I do feel a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. Like I said, just how did that happen? It happened under my watch. He's my responsibility, and I think that's another thing that I'm kind of having to work through, is just that guilt and shame of not keeping him safe. I mean, I failed him as a parent. I didn't keep him safe that night. So anyways, I hope this was somehow helpful to you guys. I don't know, if it was or not, but just sharing our story and our horrible eloping experience. And now I am pooped from 2 days of work. I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna hug my sweet boy. I'm gonna kiss him, and we're gonna cuddle the rest of the night. We're gonna cuddle and watch YouTube and eat snacks. And tomorrow we're off together, so we're gonna cuddle some more. So I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.